How can you choose your fund manager when you've invested in the NPS?
The performance of each of these pension fund managers. You can switch fund managers once a year. Returns for a short period of time is no guarantee for returns for a long period of time. So the pension fund manager should look at what will generate long-term sustainable returns.
Hello and welcome back to this very special series on the NPS, the National Pension System. We have with us, as always, Mr. Subhasis Ghosh of Kotak Pension Fund. Thank you so much for joining us here again.
Thank you, Sana.
All right. Well, on this episode, another very interesting topic. How can you choose your fund manager when you've invested in the NPS? So we have a case study in this one of, again, a 42-year-old Vinay. He wants to review his NPS portfolio and he's confused about which pension fund manager to choose. So to start off with, who are authorized pension fund managers? Like, what do you
Okay.
have to do to become one?
Okay. So PFRDA, who is the regulator of the pension fund industry, has certain very strict criteria for you to become a pension fund manager. Currently, there are only 10 authorized pension fund managers, and most of them have been around for some time. Some of them have come recently, but most of them have a 5-year plus history. So you can go back to history, go to the NPS Trust website and check from there the performance of each of these pension fund managers. So you will know how they are performed in debt, how they are performed in equity, in within debt, how they are performed in corporate bonds, how they are performed in government securities, and it's there since inception. So if a pension fund manager has been there for a long period of time, you have a much clearer idea of how they are performed over a period of time.
Right. And can the same fund manager be managing different asset classes?
Yes. So all these 10 pension managers are authorized to manage all the 4 asset classes which are there, which is equity, corporate bond, government securities, and alternate assets.
All right. And since you said that you can evaluate the performance of the fund manager, what would be the criteria? Is it just pure returns?
Well, let me put it this way. Like I said before, the pension fund managers, of which there are 10, have all been selected, or I would say they have undergone a screening process by PFRDA. So only 10 of them are there, and they are also monitored very regularly as by any regulator would. Given that any choice of yours is good from the point of view of safety, from the view of competence, all 10 are equally good. Now, your personal preference could, of course, pay, because you may have many of them managing a mutual fund portfolio. So you may know some other dealings with that, the parent or the sponsor of the pension fund manager. But the more professional way, I was supposed to would look at their returns. And if they have been around for a long period of time, then the returns are more consistent than someone who may have come in more recently.
Right. So the pension fund managers can also be the same people managing certain mutual funds. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Pension fund manager of NPS would only manage NPS. It is possible that some of their sponsors would also be managing mutual fund, not they themselves.
All right. And well, the basis of this question, can we switch pension fund managers? Yes,
Oh,
we
yes,
can.
of course.
How often would that be? How often
You
can you
can,
switch?
yes, good question. You can switch fund managers once a year.
All right.
Every 12 months, you can switch your fund manager. And the other thing is, you can have each asset class be managed by a different pension fund manager. So you have 3 asset classes in tier 1 and 3 in tier 2. You can have, therefore, technically 6 pension fund managers.
Right. And whether it is auto or it is active, you can still choose.
Yes, of course.
All right. So, well, again, to help Vinay, who has this doubt, how does one choose their pension fund manager? Like, should it be based on the fund history or the reputation of the fund house?
I would go more by history, actual performance, because each pension fund manager is carefully chosen. So they would have passed that basic test of being reputable, of being able to manage their accounts properly, the business properly, and they are monitored fairly regularly. So I would go by the history.
All right. And what would you say is the one quality that a good pension fund manager should have?
Patience. See, this is retirement funds. So returns for short period of time is no guarantee for returns for long period of time. So the pension fund manager should look at what will generate long-term sustainable returns. That is more important than short-term gains, where you may make certain calls which turn out to be right. But can you make those calls consistently over a period of time is the point to be taken.
And challenging considering that people now like they have the flexibility to just switch the pension fund manager. So you kind of have to have that grit to like,
That's right.
retain your however you think it's going to work.
That's right. That's true. Having said that, there are certain safeguards as far as the investor is concerned, because in equity you are allowed to invest in only top 200 stock. So that in itself means basically you're investing in large cap funds, in which case the oscillation or the movement up and down will be relatively less as compared to the small or the mid cap fund. So to that extent, inherently, some stability has been put in by the regulator.
Right. Well, again, the takeaway from this episode very clear. NPS gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to choose the people, and I hope that by the end of this episode, you know just what to focus on, when to know whether you want to switch your fund manager. More coming on the next episode. Stay tuned.